Hello, everyone. For those of you that do not know me, my name is Alicia, and I'm a psychic medium. I'm what's to be considered a no-tools medium, meaning I don't need to use cards or anything like that, but I can and I do incorporate them into my readings. What I mainly do is I channel, and I channel energy, and I channel and communicate with those that have passed, with those that are still here, places, objects, and I channel and communicate with my spirit guides, and I use my third eye. Okay, all my readings are timeless. Anything I say could be past, present, or future. It could deal with you, somebody close to you, maybe somebody you haven't met yet. Okay, if the reading resonates with you, yay, I hope it does, with at least one or so. If not, then maybe the message is just not for you, or not for you at this time. Or maybe it has to do with somebody close to you, you know what I mean? A significant other, a loved one, a past loved one, or like I said, maybe the event hasn't happened and you haven't met the person yet. So, if it doesn't apply, let it fly, basically what I say. So, okay, yeah, let me pray, because before I get started, I always pray, and then I will explain. Dear Lord God, please protect me with your white light of protection always. Please help me to clearly see, hear, feel, and know the messages I'm about to receive and give. My intention is to communicate with spirit, with my spirit guides, with angels, with energy, and to do a mediumship reading for Mr. Justin Bieber. And a lot of you are probably like, what? Oh my God. Okay, well, I've always been a big Justin Bieber fan. I mean, he's extremely talented, and things like that. But he's just, a great singer, I think. He's got a beautiful voice. So anyway, I kind of follow what's going on, with him and the whole thing, and the Selena and then Haley and then all this and that, and everything that's been going on as of late, per the Diddy thing and all of that. And I don't know, I guess in a sense I just kind of, I can empathize with the guy, and not from a star standpoint, but with probably how he feels and what he's going through, and not really knowing who to really talk to about it, you know what I mean? Or like what to share, or if he wants to share. But I know just like internally, he is probably going through a lot, and I know he gets a lot of flack, in the media for, or at least he was, for his appearance and looking disheveled, and, going out in odd clothes and things like that. And, of course, when you're out there in the limelight, you're a little bit more scrutinized than just, regular people like us. But that still doesn't take away from the fact, that he's human, like the rest of us. And, he has feelings and emotions and stuff like that, and he's going through stuff also, with his marriage and the baby, and like I said, and then, just the media just constantly hounding him and, saying things and putting things out there. So anyhow, I thought I would do a reading for him. So if he ever sees this, okay. If not, okay. But I just thought I would do that, because he's, and I know it's odd, but he's been on my mind lately, and because I've just been seeing stuff on TikTok and things like that. So, for those of you that don't know about being a no-tools medium, like I said, I just mainly channel, and I will be using some cards. But when I channel, it's just basically me sitting here talking, like having a conversation. If it seems like I'm staring off into space or, zoning out, it's because I am. It's because I'm listening to what's being told to me or seeing what is being shown to me per my third eye. Okay? So, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Okay? Go ahead and start with some cards. So, attention is do this reading for Mr. Justin Bieber, the singer. So, what would you like Mr. Justin Bieber to know? Okay. My glasses are dirty. First of all, we have the World card, which is a good card. You know, it has to do with fulfillment, harmony, and completion. But then we got the Nine of Cups, and it was reversed, and that has to do with lack of inner joy, some dissatisfaction, and maybe even like some smugness, you know. Which makes sense. Okay, I'm not sure if I want to. Yeah, we're gonna reshuffle those. All right. What would you like Mr. Bieber to know? Okay, there we go. All right, we have the Seven of Swords, which has to do with deception, trickery, maybe even like devising a plan, strategy. The Knight of Swords, which has to do with action, impulsiveness, maybe defending your beliefs. We got the Empress, but it was reversed, and that has to do with like being dependent, smothering, emptiness, maybe nosiness, any of the swords. So I'm going to start with these by looking at these a quick minute, and then we'll go from there. And I always write things down. Okay. Obviously, even though we got the World card here, you know, which has to do with fulfillment and completion, we then had the Nine of Cups come out in reverse, you know, which has to do with dissatisfaction and like lack of inner joy, you know, being smug. So even though, and this is what I'm hearing, you know, even though he may have all these things, you know, be popular, have all this money, have all this stuff, you know, he's married, has a son, there's still that feeling of not being fulfilled, you know, the dissatisfaction, the lack of inner joy, you know, just not really being satisfied or happy with himself. You know, of course I'm hearing there's a lack of love, a lack of self-love. And it's funny that the Seven of Swords came out, because that has to do with deception and trickery and stuff like that. And that is kind of ironic, because in the media as of late, you know, it's been coming out and been said that he has said that he's felt like, you know, a fraud, and, you know, has been sneaky or felt sneaky at times, things like that. And that he felt like he didn't deserve, you know, certain things. Then we have the Knight of Swords. Which has to do with like action and impulsiveness. Which I believe, you know, he has been. I believe a lot of that has to do with the Seven of Swords also, though, with the taking action and letting people know, you know, that he has felt like a fraud, you know, felt like he was deceiving everyone and being fake and things like that. With the Empress being reversed, I mean, now that could deal with a woman, or it could just be the feminine energy, period. And what I'm getting from that is the emptiness aspect of it. Like, just, again, going back to the beginning, not feeling fulfilled. Almost like no matter what he does, you know, he still doesn't feel completely happy. You know, he thought he wanted, you know, this whole family type life and things like that, and he very well may. But something is still lacking. You know, I just keep hearing the words shame and guilt, embarrassment, which is understandable given the position that he's in right now. You know, anyone in that position would feel that way, I imagine. And I'm just hearing like so many thoughts, like just doesn't even know what to think. Doesn't know where to turn, really, doesn't know what to do. Trying to deal with things in the best manner that they can possibly be dealt with, but and then I just keep hearing like they just want me to talk about it. They just want me to talk about it. They just want me to talk about it, and I don't want to. You know, I feel like, you know, he was put in many positions and to where he was deceptive. You know what I mean? People were being deceptive towards him, lying to him, offering things, you know, making him think that this is the way that life was, and, you know, this is what we do, and if you want to be a part of it, basically this group, you know what I mean, and this is how we show each other that we love each other, and this and that and the other. And I just believe, you know, it's just a very sick and twisted ordeal, you know, that he was thrown into. And honestly, didn't have guidance. He didn't have the proper guidance. You know, it doesn't matter that he was there with all these adults. He didn't have the proper guidance. He didn't have people sitting there telling him, no, that's not the way things are. That's not the way things are supposed to be. And no, you know, things like that shouldn't happen, or isn't what happens generally. You know what I mean? You don't have to do these type of things in order to fit in or show someone that you love them, or them proving that, you know, they love you. And so, you know, I think he's doing exceptionally well with handling all of this, for the most part, you know, with trying to keep it together. Obviously there's going to be times, and not just now, but I mean throughout his life, where it's going to be like a back and forth battle, because he's battling himself within himself. Almost also like he may feel like less of a man. I'm hearing somebody has poked fun for all of this, and even though he tries to keep it together, you know, it's been really hurtful, and it's really affected him, like, as an adult. I don't know. I'm hearing some type of somebody close to him. I'm not going to say the wife, but I don't know, significant other, close friend, something, where there was an argument at one point and there were jabs thrown about whatever may have happened. I'm hearing emasculating, so almost like emasculating him, like almost like throwing that up in his face that happened. And I'm just hearing, you know, of course, which we all know, things aren't always what they seem. And, you know, things might seem all happy and joyful and people can put on a good show. Meaning the other spouse even, you know, it's all for show is what I'm hearing. It's all for show. And I'm hearing, and people can be up in arms about this or, you know, say I'm wrong, but even the whole relationship, and I don't believe on his part, but there was something going on like behind the scenes, and I feel like it's been said before to where he thought, you know, it was like an arranged marriage or whatnot. And I'm just hearing orchestrated, like things were orchestrated from the very first encounter meeting all the way up until, you know, each meeting. It's like people would just happen to be at the same place and this and that, and but things were properly planned and planned out, and it's almost like this whole thing was planned out. Relationship, marriage, whatever. For her gain. You understand what I mean? And I'm hearing to ensure like security. I mean, I'm not being mean, you know, but I'm hearing, because I mean, without him, she wouldn't be in the position where she is right now. If it wasn't for getting connected with him. I mean, she may have done okay, but she wouldn't have been getting the recognition that she is now if it wasn't for being in that relationship with him. I just keep hearing sad, sad, sad. Okay, what about... Okay, what do we have to say about the marriage? About the marriage. Page of Wands came out, but it was reversed. It has to do with lack of direction, creating conflict, maybe some procrastination. Which that came out a little bit ago, the lack of direction. It's almost like, and I have been in positions like this myself, or relationships, you know, where you don't know how to act, or kind of don't know how to handle things, so to say, relationship wise, you know, kind of socially awkward when it comes to relationships, at least in a healthy manner, you know, and how to handle things and cope with things and deal with things in an adult healthy manner. And especially people that have been through the ringer and back, and, you know, part of dysfunction, and don't really know how to handle things too well. Being successful at such a young age, you know, and don't take this the wrong way, you know, there could have been some spoiled brattiness, you know, coming along with it, you know, entitlement, and I just feel like, you know, sometimes maybe in relationships it's like my way or no way, you know, with him. And But that's what he's used to, and he's used to having his way, and people just kind of, probably throwing themselves at him and doing whatever he says. To an extent, is what I heard, to an extent, because when he was in other positions, yeah, no, he didn't have a say so. This is what you're doing when he was younger. This is what you're doing. This is what you're going to do, or else, and it was that way with the other people, my way or no way. It's like he didn't have a choice. It's like if he wanted this life, and if he wanted that type of life, then this is what you're doing, period. So I feel like he kind of took that over, the whole like my way or no way type deal, almost like learned behavior in a sense. And just sad. That's all I keep hearing, just sad, sad, sad. Like he just wants to break, just wants to break down, and feels like he can't, he feels like he does. If he does, it's going to be more scrutiny on him, you know what I mean? All right, what about his health and well-being? Wheel of Fortune, see, health and well-being, change, cycles, his karma, kind of fade. I would say now would be a time, which it is for all of us, because for all of us, with the whole energy shift that just happened at the beginning of the month or last week, with all the planets aligning and all that, and then we had the full moon, the red blood moon, the lunar eclipse, and then that meteor shower all in the same evening. But throughout the whole week, like I said, huge energy shift, and changing. It went from one thing to another, to another, to another, to another. And I believe he's a good person and does good things. I don't feel like he believes that. I don't feel like he believes in himself in that aspect, to where he doesn't think he deserves good things, because he doesn't feel like he's doing good things, like putting that good out there, like that good karma. The only thing I can say about that, if you're feeling that even though that you have all this stuff and you're putting stuff out there for your fans and things like that, but yet you still feel like that you don't deserve what you're doing, or you don't deserve like the compliments or the things that people are saying to you, then change the viewpoint that you have of yourself. You know what I mean? Change that whole trajectory. Start doing things that you feel would warrant deserving that recognition, deserving those compliments. Doing for others, who can't do for themselves, putting yourself out there more, more charity work, like I said, doing for others that, don't have all that you have, instead of, because maybe you feel like, maybe he feels like performing just isn't enough, him just performing and singing songs doesn't warrant or deserve the recognition or compliments that people are giving to him, and all of it all goes back to self-love, you know what I mean? Very much lacking in that, big time, because he's conflicted, he's confused, he's hurt, he's ashamed, he feels guilty, like a lot of it was his own fault, and it wasn't. He had people taking advantage of him, and that were supposed to be mentoring him, and they took advantage of their position in society, and potentially ruined this man, this boy, Those type of things are long lasting, you know. And it's not something, especially if he's just now, I mean, with everything coming to the surface, it's just like, okay, everything is exposed now, everybody's going to know. And you know, there comes that embarrassment and shame with that, you know. And I mean, when you're still trying to process things and deal with things, and then, you know, as an adult finding out, okay, no, this stuff isn't normal. It doesn't go around or happen within all of these circles of people, you know, and then finding that out and then realizing, okay, you know, what was really going on, and finding out the truth of everything, and having to be so hush hush about all this for all these years, that's going to have a long lasting effect on somebody and do a lot of damage, you know. Anybody that has been in a position where they have been sexually assaulted, molested, raped, you know, and I've been there and done that. It's not something you just get over, and it's not something that's very easily processed, you know, and everybody deals with things differently and handles things differently and handles grief differently, and, you know, and loss. I mean, because he's going through some loss too. You know, he's had to X out a lot of people that have been in his life from the beginning. And he's X'd out these people. You know, he's losing a lot of people, a lot of support, a lot of people that he thought were support, I should say, and that were really close to him, that were supposed to be, like I said, mentoring, guiding, and helping him along. Instead, you know, everyone else was steering him in the wrong direction. And then, you know, they want to say something, or want to try to say something, when the guy's, you know, clearly screwed up or messed up, and you know, want to have something to say because they can't keep it together. Think of it, if it was you, would you be keeping it together so well? I doubt it. You know, leave the guy alone, you know, and let him process things and heal and figure things out, period. Okay, now what I was going to do for him for this reading, okay, we have some, okay, let's do some hidden truths. Let's do some hidden truths, some little hidden truths. What do we have to say here? We will be together again is a little card that came out. I'm hearing either that's something that he holds deep down inside with the ex, you know, maybe thinking they will be together again. I'm becoming a better person. You know, I feel like he feels responsible for her mental health during that period. I think he feels responsible for how he went about everything, you know, with that breakup, and then jumping into things so quickly with the other, you know, and I don't think he realized the damage that it had inflicted on that person. And now that he's going through maybe some of the same things mentally, that maybe what she was going through, and actually feeling things and not being so selfish anymore and self-involved, you know, he's starting to realize, you know, the error of his ways, and maybe thinking, you know, it's too late. It's never too late to apologize and to try to make amends, and, you know, apologize and ask for forgiveness, you know. And people may say that they forgive you, but sometimes deep down they still hold resentments, you know. And we can hold resentments towards ourselves too, you know. See, there's something that came up. I wonder if you're happy without me. Almost like wondering if somebody is truly happy, or if it's like for show. And that's exactly what I'm hearing. Like, that's what the wondering is. Are they really happy, or is it just for show? You know, what else? What other hidden truths? I'm afraid to contact you. I'm afraid to contact you. I love you unconditionally. What else? Let's just get a couple more through here. I knew exactly what I was doing. That's when they came out. I knew exactly what I was doing. Almost like, and I'm hearing, it's like he knew he was hurting or going to hurt somebody, you know. Like they say, hurt people hurt people. And it's, I mean, I'm just hearing selfish. I was just so selfish. I was just so selfish. So I knew I was hurting her, and I knew I was going to hurt her, and I did it anyway. Just for my own. I feel you even though we're apart. It was my fault, but I blamed you. My life is not as together as it seems. So there again, you know, hidden truths. A lot of facades, you know, a lot of feelings that are still there, still lingering, either about the other person or within themselves, you know. Almost like the one that got away. Okay, here's some love oracle. Okay. And again, if anyone is confused, I was doing this about Mr. Justin Bieber, the singer. I've just been seeing him, you know, on stuff lately, and I just feel for him. Difficult relationship, very much so. Difficult relationship. What else? Mr. Justin Bieber. And we all know that. I've been manifesting our connection. So someone's like, you know, trying to manifest. I need to redo that. Manifest the fact that almost like someone was trying to manifest like being with that other person, and like that the connection is true and good and honest, like, and they're still continuing to do that. That's exactly what I'm hearing. It's like, and I don't want to say like spells or anything like that, but this person just works very much so with manifestation, the law of attraction, all of that, and almost like they have manifested being with this person. Be careful what you wish for, is all I can say. You know, some things, that's why they say be very careful with how you pray. And when you do pray, you know, be specific, be detailed, because God will answer our prayers, and we generally do get what we pray for and what we're asking for. But sometimes we just get it in different ways than what we expected, if you understand what I mean. Okay. So, let me see what else here. I was going to get some. Okay. What are you waiting for? Almost like somebody's hesitant about something, obviously, but in regards to the position he's in now, you know, with the marriage and all that, I'm not sure what exactly they're getting at with saying that. What are you waiting for? Like, I'm hearing it has to do with family and like continuing on with growing the family or expanding the family. And I mean, that's not going to solve everything. What are you waiting for? You gave me that spark. Why do we have two of the same? They miss you a lot. I'm so attracted to you. Like, you know, obviously there's feelings still there within, ouch, you know, the relationship. I mean, why wouldn't there be? I mean, it was a soulmate connection, you know, but there are karmic soulmates in our lives. And the karmic soulmates are the ones that, I mean, we can love them to death all day long, but they're the ones that we learn our lessons from. Though, you know, they're the ones that, you know, you're with and then break up and then get back together and then break up and then get back together. And you can love that person for the rest of your life, you know, be in love with that person forever. But they're in your life to help you learn, you know, to help you learn some things and learn your lessons and grow from them. And even if that means like learning them and growing like once you're apart, you know, yeah, there's different kinds of soulmates within our lives. Okay, let me do, hold on. Okay, sorry about that. All right, let's get a few things, a few cards here to help raise his vibration. All right, Mr. Justin Bieber. Let your inner fire warm you, but not burn you, okay? Okay. What else would you like Mr. Justin Bieber to know? I lovingly accept myself, okay? See, that's one, yeah, I need to do my nails. That's one thing I feel like he needs to learn to do is lovingly accept himself, you know, learn to accept himself for what he's been through and what has happened to him and for what he has done in turn, you know, to others. Whether it be with being selfish and, you know, or just messing up in relationships, friendships, you know, it doesn't matter. He needs to accept himself for who he is and love himself unconditionally, like no matter what, you know. He's not a bad, terrible person. I think, you know, just maybe kind of spoiled, bratty type. But that's okay, you know, I mean, that's who he is. Truth is my teacher. See, that is right. Yeah, they always say the truth shall set you free, and that is true, you know. And I would say take all this and like what always has come about and what will come about, take it as a lesson, you know. The truth is coming out and you can learn from it, you know. How can you then in turn like turn this negative into a positive? Okay, speak out then, you know, for other people who have been in these situations or have gone through similar things, you know, or been a victim to similar type circumstances, you know. Help others, you know, be that lending hand, speak out about it, you know, write about it, journal about it, you know, write your songs, you know, help out other victims, you know, turn it into a positive, turn it into a good thing. Nothing but good can come from this, you know. Don't let it get you down, and rise above that shame, you know? Let go of that guilt and shame. Forgive yourself more than anything. Forgive yourself. So, I don't think, is that all he needs? Okay, one more. My high vibes heal the world. See? Turn the negative into a positive. And with your positivity, with you being, you know, with him being in the limelight and things like that, you know, his or your depression, you know, then in turn does bring other people down. You know, that's your energy. And when you're out there, you know, a big superstar like that, the more positivity and stuff that you radiate and put out there and put into your music, the more everyone else is going to feel that positivity and then start radiating that too. You know, it's a domino effect. You know, the more depressed and staying stuck and stagnant in that type of energy is it's not good for anybody. You know, and it spreads like wildfire. So see it from a higher perspective. That's right. You know, see it from a higher viewpoint, just like with what I'm saying. You know, what you put into your music, you know, how your demeanor is, how you're showing yourself out there, you know, as a role model, you know, for others. And I know it can be hard to do, especially when you're going through your own inner turmoil and trauma. You know, it's hard to be upbeat and positive and radiate that and show that all the time, you know, and nobody's saying that. Don't go around being fake, you know, and oh yeah, I'm so happy and this and that. No, people want to see the real you. You know, it's okay to hurt. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be honest and truthful about situations when you feel the time is right. But you can't go on hiding and keeping things in the dark, you know, because what's in the dark will soon come to light. It's all going to come about eventually. So you might as well just be open and honest about things and, you know, start getting the help that you need, and whether it be counseling or whatever you feel. I'm not one for, you know, medicines and things like that. I don't do any of that. I'm all holistic. So, you know, get you some healing done. Start meditating, working on yourself, you know, finding positive things about yourself, you know, within. And turning to those, you know, that maybe need your help. And sometimes even though we're going through trauma and turmoil ourselves, sometimes being a listening ear to somebody else, like going through the same thing and allowing them to share, kind of helps heals us also internally, you know. We're going to do some Healing Spirits Oracle real quick, and then some angel numbers, and then I will be done. Okay, what do the Healing Spirits want to say to Mr. Justin Bieber? Okay, those went flying. First and foremost, we have success isn't what you have, it's what you do with what you have. What was I saying a little bit ago? You know, if you feel like you don't deserve all of this or compliments or deserve certain things, do good with it, you know, do good with what you have. You have all this money and all this stuff, you know, give to those that are less fortunate, you know, help somebody out, you know, be there for someone when people weren't there for you, you know, in certain ways. It says your life is about to move in a new direction, but don't be in a hurry to conquer everything in a short space of time. Spirit sages teach that success is to be enjoyed and understood. Therefore, it must be allowed to open slowly, like a flower whose blossom is enjoyed for much longer when it appears naturally and with the right elements, when it follows nature. Enjoy each step of this journey to your full potential, and don't just look for the outcomes. The process is often the greatest lesson. And then, see, you have the power to make yourself better. See, that's a great card. That's a great card. which we do. We have the power to heal ourselves. You know, you have to want to get better. You have to learn to forgive yourself and learn to love yourself and learn that it's okay, you know, and that you're going to be okay. That no matter what, at the end of the day, you're going to be okay. And this is nothing that you can't get through, and it won't get through. Okay? The healing power of the spirit world will always be there for you when you make the effort to heal your own body, mind, or life. You might not be aware of it, but the moment you try to fix what is broken in your life, healing spirits will pour out their power, their pure compassion, to get you back to full health and strength. Spirit healers are working with you right now because they know how important it is for you to get back to being the best that you can be. Remember, the power of love is what connects you to spirit helpers and healers, and they are reminding you just how strong love is when it comes to the medicine that you require. Okay, and I'm going to stop with that one on those because I believe that says it all. You know, it, like I said earlier, it starts within, and it starts with self-love. And if you're not at the point yet to where you truly unconditionally love yourself, you know, then there's work that needs to be done. And okay, let's get some angel numbers and then we're done. We have 1818. An uplifting message of encouragement and support from your angels as your positive affirmations, thoughts, beliefs, and visualizations have manifested as an increased flow of abundance entering your life. Wealth and abundance come in many forms. So it's not just about money. It's not just always about things, okay? Being rich in here, being wealthy in here, being abundant in here. You know, it all starts with from within. You know, getting closer to yourself and to source, which is God, you know. Okay, angel number 3333. So if you see a bunch of threes, but recognize and enjoy the fact that you're surrounded by love and blessings. Angels are watching over you, and your concerns will be addressed very soon. Ask and you shall receive. Okay, keep praying, keep praying. You know, ask angels to help you step in, divine intervention. Angel number 2, a message to have courage and faith. Trust in the angels and universal energies as the answers to your prayers are manifesting for you. It may not be obvious yet, but this is a test of your patience. But all will come to pass in divine right timing. Okay, and I believe that kind of sums up everything that I had said. Let's get a couple little inspirational messages and then I'm done. I know I keep saying that, but that's me. I'm long-winded, you know. That's just me. So, okay. You've survived 100% of your bad days. How fitting. How fitting. Life always offers you a second chance, and it's called tomorrow. Okay? Don't look back. You're not going that way. So just look forward, you know, look towards the future. Stay in the now. Stay in the present moment, because that's all we have anyhow, is right now. You know, we can work towards, you know, progressing ourselves, but as we're working towards that, where are we? We're in the here and now. You're working on it right now. Okay? Just deal with everything one day at a time, man. That's all you can do. Stop worrying about trying to make everybody else happy and make yourself happy, you know? You have to be happy with yourself. You have to like yourself and love yourself. Whatever you do, do it good. And do it well. Our first and last love is self-love. See, that's what I've been saying this whole time, so I'm ending with that. That is my cue to be done. So I hope everyone enjoyed this. Yes, maybe he'll see this, maybe he won't, you know, Mr. Justin Bieber. So, and if so, I hope you enjoyed it. If not, you know, I'm sorry, I tried. So I hope everyone has a lovely morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever it is that you may see this. And again, my name is Alicia Augustus. I'm on Facebook and I'm on TikTok, and I'm just getting on YouTube, you know, getting that started. So anyhow, yes, hope everyone has a lovely, lovely day. And continue to watch me and watch my readings, all of my live readings on Facebook and TikTok. And that's it. Yeah. So help me spread the messages. Okay, people? Peace, light, and love. Bye.